Welcome to Stitches and Sundries. My name's Lauren. This is a podcast about cross stitch and stitchy goodness, and it's spooky season. I'm actually filming this just a few days before Halloween, and I have had such a wonderful October and autumn season, so I hope you are also getting all those excellent spooky vibes. I have had multiple bonfires, beautiful trip up to Salem, up to the northeastern United States. The leaves were changing, the crisp fall air, everything's perfect. Did a pumpkin carving with my family. Like, you can't beat it. Like, it has been so perfect. The weather's been perfect. You can't beat autumn in the mountains. You truly can't. My hometown here does a big autumn parade and festival, and it's a pretty big deal in this area. Like, it draws a lot of people from like the surrounding couple states because our foliage and everything is so beautiful. So we're very lucky. We had a wonderful autumn. So I hope you're having that as well. My name is Lauren. You can follow me on Instagram at LaurenUpStitching, where I kind of post. I fall in and out. Sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm not. I noticed I have a couple new people, so it is so nice to see you all. And for everybody that's sticking with me and comments and, you know, praises my sister's beautiful fabric choices, I really appreciate you guys hanging out every month. And let's get into some cross stitch. I have a big bag of cross stitch. And I can't forget, I keep forgetting this piece over here. Let me pull my bag up here. But I pull my bag up here and then I forget. I'm going to do that one first of the whips. And I remembered my book. So I will have my information that I always feel like I need. All right. So I have, I think, 2 finishes. I don't have any full finishes. I've really gotten behind on some finishing. I did get, I'll show you my Hocus Pocus that I'm doing. I was finishing those as little cards for like a garland. And I did get fabric for the cards. So I should have those finished soon. I wanted them finished for Halloween. I wanted them to be part of my office decor, and it just didn't happen. Now I have plenty of time to add to it and do more for next year. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not annoyed with myself at all. But I do have 2 finishes and several new starts. A bunch of small new starts, but several new starts. So let me do some finishes. Boom. Let's get into some fun finishes. So this is Plants and Petrichor by Fine Frog Stitching. And the last time I saw this, I was almost done. I had just one side to fill in. And so now this is completed. And as you can see, I did change the cat to look like my sister's cat, Beast. So instead of a black cat, which wasn't showing up great in that really dark section of the fabric, I changed it to a white cat. And it looks so pretty. I just love the mood of this. Like, talk about autumn, you know, the kind of like darkening days. Talk about those vibes. Absolutely beautiful. I love it. I love how it turned out on this fabric. I think it turned out super awesome. And actually, this little bright spot, I think, makes that window look all the more dreary. Like, it wasn't standing out too much, but then I noticed that against that bright spot, you can really tell that it's a dreary, rainy day. So I really love how this turned out. It was a lot of confetti, especially in this painting. These 3 shells were a lot of confetti. But it has such a great effect. So it was 100% worth it. But unlike down here, we had the bust, which was kind of larger swaths of color. There wasn't as much of that. A little bit of the quote-unquote background or sky of the painting. So I really enjoyed stitching on this. I stitched this on 28 count Gothic by Picture This Plus, and I think it turned out just perfect. Now I've got to figure out how I want to finish it. Do I want to put it in a frame? Is it going in this room to match all the purple? What am I going to do with it? So I love finding places for all my pieces. My second finish is a small finish, but it is mighty. This is Victorian Lantern by UrbanStitches. Don't know why that like left my brain. And I was almost finished it last time, and I knocked it out of the park. Look how good that is. Oh, that's so pretty. That turned out so lovely. I love the fade of the flames. Super good. This is stitched on 32 count. I believe it is Timeless by BeStitchMe fabrics. Gotta go all the way back. It's Victorian Lamp, not Victorian Lantern. I am seeing myself here. Yeah, Timeless Lugana. And my sister chose it, and it is absolutely perfect. It is amazing. I do wish I had moved it over. I even marked like where to start, and I was like, that's really not much of a border, and I moved in further. I wish I moved it over and I would have more of this left, because it's so, but I have a whole section, but it's so pretty. This one I definitely want to finish in, I saw some on eBay the other day, like a wrought iron diamond frame. And I really like that. So I might have to pick that up, or hoping to go up to Pittsburgh in the next couple weeks, and maybe I will find, try to go to some thrift shops while I'm up there, and I find so many good frames. I love thrifting frames. So I might find like a cool vintage piece that it fits its aesthetics. Sarah is about to kill me though, because I'm looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 fairly sized, good sized boxes filled with frames in this room, but they're not the right frame. So those are my finishes. I am very pleased with both of them. I need to get my butt in gear on doing some full finishes. I really enjoy the like full finish process. I know it's like some people's like, you know, they just have stacks and stacks and stacks. I actually really enjoy the final finishing product. The one thing that slows me down is anything that needs sewn, because I don't sew. Like with a machine, I can do some hand sewing, but I don't sew. And so I have to like ask my sister, and I always feel bad, like begging and like taking her time away from her projects, and her things she wants to do, to like do something that's not, she doesn't like, she can sew and she's pretty good at it and she enjoys it sometimes. But when I'm just like, can you make me 30 teeny tiny pillows, please? She's like, I would rather not, but she does it for me anyway, because she likes me. All right, let's do some whips. What do I got? That's a new start. That's a new start. Oh, let's do the one that I shouldn't forget. Let's do the one that I shouldn't forget. This is Graveyard by Nazaire. It's a beautiful, perfectly fall piece. I'm so glad I didn't forget it, because I think I'm going to use it for my thumbnail. So it would have been bad. This is a pixel art piece that I converted into a cross stitch with the artist's permission. She was very, very kind. And this is where I was. And this is where I'm at. I have moved. Why is that so annoying? My like recording thing is like in the wrong spot. I have moved. I had to scroll down, and I dropped down to the next section. So I have that whole top of the angel done, and I have dropped down to the next row, which I've made a little more narrow just so I can like, the threads were getting a little out of control for me. So I've made it a slightly more narrow section to work across. And yeah, I am me look here. I keep thinking I'm nudging the camera, but I've been proven on more than one occasion that you can't do shit to this camera. It has perfect balance. I am 38% complete. My goal for the year, I believe, was hit 50%. I haven't done that, and I probably won't. I work on this about once a month for a couple nights, and then I rotate it out. And so I'm just not going to make that kind of progress. But I think, but I have made a ton of progress on this year. I believe, and I took off for like May. I didn't stitch on it at all because I did Mania. I'm trying to look at where I was at the end of the year. So at the end of the year, I was at not quite 20%. And so I think 20% a year is completely reasonable. Like I will easily get to 40% by the end of the year. And yeah, I love this. I love the colors. I'm enjoying it so much. I love when something comes out of the forest, like that gravestone in the back there, or the cross. Like it's just like so fun to work on. It is very soothing. I do now, my first full coverage cross stitch that I ever did, besides like one that was like the size of a hoop, was a piece that my sister had bought. This was back, we both like started cross stitching roughly the same time, and she abandoned cross stitch very quickly. It just wasn't her hobby, and I was like ravenous. And she had bought the pattern for, I'll show it to you. This is, I believe, the Colossal Octopus by Unconventional X Stitch. And this picture is 9,000% confetti, I think. It's really more of a pointillist sketch that they, like, I believe, ran through a conversion software. And so it's about 98 colors, most of which are cream and gray, just various shades of cream and gray. I already can't see grays and blues very well. So it just like completely overwhelmed me. I was just so overwhelmed with it. And so doing this piece, why I had to make my own, you'll learn. If you're new here, you will learn. I can't leave anything alone. I have to do everything just a little different. I don't know why I'm like that. I have to change something. I have to change a black cat to a white cat. I think that's part of personalizing cross stitch, but I am particularly egregious about just changing everything. So I had to ask, I couldn't find a full coverage cross stitch. I had to ask someone if I could make one. But this has really showed me why people enjoy it so much, how they can just like sit and like feel like they zone out and like it's meditative. Like I do understand it more now. I get it more than I used to, because this piece is just so nice to work on and lean on. It's a perfect leaning height. All right, I remembered it. We did good. I just pull from the bag, and whatever I get is what I get. This next whip is Mushrooms and Toadstools by Owl Forest Embroidery. I started this in 2024, so I've been working on it over a year, but it's a pretty big piece. And this is where I was, and I am almost done. I think I'm in the final home stretch here. I'll probably get it done in November sometime. So I'm going to cut it in half because it's so large. There's where I'm at. Yay! I have a frog. Most of a frog. He needs his eyes. So I finished, these are the black, these are the death caps. So I got those stitched in beautifully. Started on the fly agaric, and got a big chunk of that and the toad done. Have stitched in some of the just as I finished up colors, I just started working on the leaves around it. So I just have this big center piece and these little mushrooms down here. You can kind of see one one little beigey guy to finish. I think I have 1,500 stitches left, something like that, like maybe 2,000. Not bad at all. I'm at like 90%, 92%. I knew I crossed the threshold. Oh, let me see. Let me lean back. Oh, I cannot wait to get this framed. I'm definitely getting this one framed. The frame size is going to be hard to find. But I think I'm going to go get it framed and take it into my office. And it's so pretty. I love it so much. Cannot wait to have that done. This is another one that's very nice to stitch on. I'm stitching this one on 28 count, the called for linen that is printed with those ferns and everything. And I'm using the kitted floss. So that's one I haven't changed. Look at me. I'm doing great. Go up here. All right, what else do I got? So my last whip, because I only had 3 whips this time. Get in there. This is a spooky night. It is Tiny Modernist Halloween Sal for this year. Stitch along. And I am changing a lot of things. So this makes up for the other one that I didn't change at all. So I am changing a lot of things. I wanted to stitch these. A friend of mine, Devin, gave me the idea to stitch them as smalls for filling in, and I like the idea of little pillows. I'm obsessed with a little pillow right now. This is the year of the little pillow. So let me put up, this is my reworked idea. I'm so sorry. I love Tiny Modernist so much. So this is it's all scattered because mine does not matter how it is formed. This is how it's like laid out. These are my finishes. These are my conversions. So give you a second there. Because I am pretty pleased with some of those. And I'll kind of talk you through some of the ones. So I think the last time I had all these done at the top here, these went unchanged. Really didn't mess with those too much. So now I am down on the second row of quote unquote little pillows. And I finished up and modified the monster plant. So originally, I had started stitching. And so I was a little constrained when I redesigned this because I was going to keep him as is. And then I thought of the idea of having a twirly vine and having a crow sit on the vine. I liked that idea a lot because I was trying to incorporate these crows. And I started mocking that up and it just wasn't looking right. I couldn't get it to set right. I couldn't get it to like look integrated. And so I ended up moving the crow down here to the pot. But then I had made it wider, so I started filling in. And then I made a second little youngin, a little young monster guy. And I just like how that turned out. That just turned out so good together. It feels like a cohesive piece. So I'm very pleased with how that turned out. I have also started, this is, because I had to take so many breaks while I figured this one out. I've also started the spooky sign. And so I'll just pop up the little ones as I change them. I'll put up my little, this one I didn't change much. It's still exactly the same. I just added the other crow at the end. So it's a little longer. And I have obviously plenty of room to add a second one underneath that. So it is coming along nicely. I am stitching this one on 28 count. Marsh by Atomic Ranch. And I just keep being impressed with how great this kind of neutral swampy green is just complementing some of these brighter colors. Like that purple and peach looks so good on this color. It was the ladies at the Village Sampler, which is a cross stitch shop in cross stitch needlepoint, a little bit of everything shop down in Charleston, West Virginia. They helped me pour over multiple piles of fabrics to pick this, and they are awesome. Because as I said, don't put me in charge of picking the fabric. So I'm very pleased. I now have a definitive, like, I'm not going like into each square blind. I have like a definitive final idea of how I'm going to handle the little pillows. So I hope to make more progress on that. More quick progress. All right. That is all my whips. So I have three new starts. I'm sorry, I have such dry mouth today. All right, one is a little one, and you've kind of seen it before. So I want to keep a blackwork piece going. So when I finished up the Victorian lamp piece, I wanted to put another blackwork piece into my rotation. I'm really enjoying the blackwork. But I didn't want to start anything too big. And I was just like, one evening I cooked, I was kind of tired. I was like, you know what? I'm going to grab a scrap of fabric and I'm going to do another one of these. This is Elizabethan Blackwork by Mary Hickmott Designs. And I've done two of these in the past. I did one as a little framed piece and one as a little pillow. And I really enjoyed them. They're cute little designs. They go really quick. And I was like, I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap fabric and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit down and do one of these. So I did that, and this is where I'm at. I'm almost done. So just the other night, I just stitched in the chain border, and I just last night did the flower and the leaves. So, I mean, that is going very quick. This is a scrap of 28 count Vintage Stormy Night. I thought I could get two on here. That's why I started it way over here. I don't quite think I can get two and have border to work with. But I really, really like that. I'll probably finish this as another little pillow, and I think it'll be quite nice. I thought this was more blue when I just grabbed it out. Again, I wasn't really paying a ton of attention. It is quite gray, but I'm actually liking it. I like that it looks like so what am I thinking of? I wanted to say something on slate, but that is not what it looks like. So I don't know where my brain was going. But yeah, very cute. I really like, Mary Hickmott Designs has a bunch of traditional blackwork patterns. So check her out if you like that kind of style. Which I can be quite traditional sometimes, every once in a while. I also have a Jurassic Park blackwork that I am considering when I'm done with this one. Stop, you're wrinkling. You're wrinkling so badly. It wants to be wrinkled, I guess. For my friend Devin, because Jurassic Park's her favorite movie. And it's very cute. And I think you can find it. Just look on Etsy for Jurassic Park blackwork, because there's not that many. Oh, do I have 4 new starts? I have 4 new starts. Wild. All right. This piece is, this one I started for my birthday. Actually, I think I said on here that I was going to start it right after I recorded last time. This is Magic Forest by Nathnolu. Ooh, let's look at that. LM. See if we can do Nathnolu. There we go. We needed to see all the words. Who is quickly becoming one of my favorite designers. She is so pretty. Her use of color is so lovely. So this is where I got, ooh, you can't even see anything. This is where I got, hang on. That makes it easier. There we go. I am stitching this on 28 count black. cashel linen. I tried it on a bunch of other colors. It just looked best on black. I don't mind stitching on black though, and I love the way this looks. I am loving all these colors, from the like very saturated lime greens to these like gray blue greens. It's so pretty. So that's my little bit of dark and spooky stitching, little ghosts. I have to show you my, I have to show you my page for this because it turned out so good. So this is my page. And if you can't read that because of the glow, it says Find the Magic. I found these awesome yellow flower stickers. And the other side has little ghosty goos floating around the mushies. So cute. Very pleased with that one. So I put a couple evenings on this and I'm already like a quarter of the way done. This is a pretty small to medium. If it's a medium, it's just, I don't know. I make up categories, arbitrary categories. That pillow was dusty. But I love it so much. I love it so much. It's so pretty. Look at that palette. Like, that is just goodness. That is just like all my favorite colors, like celeries and pine kind of colors. It's just so pretty. Oh, I also haven't gotten to show you. This is my new project bag that my sister made me. There's the back. There's the front. It's just made out of a fat quarter and some vinyl. And I freaking love it. It is so cool. It is a perfect size for keeping all my stuff. Oh, and my awesome Notions bag that I got in Salem. Please stop tangling. I threw the thread in here and I got it tangled in the zipper. There we go. How cool is this bag? I love it. This is what I got tangled on, little cross charm. And it goes perfectly with this bag. Can't tell me. You can't tell me nothing. Right. I got little hairs touching my face. Hair's frizzy today. The wind today was crazy. And you're like got blown off a hill. All right. So this next pattern is by me, sort of. And I gotta flip through. So this pattern is a gift for my retiring boss. Our CEO at the company I work for is retiring, and he asked me to do a cross stitch for him. Well, I told him I would gift a cross stitch, and he chose which one. And he chose, I believe I showed it last time, but I'll put it in here again. He chose this, and they are very cute, but they are that big. They are like postage stamp size. They are very small. So I played around and I found this pattern from Maggie Jo's studio on Etsy. The amount of Dalmatian patterns is both extensive and very limited. You want 101 Dalmatians? You're golden. If you just want a Dalmatian that's not like hyper detailed, going to take me 9 years to finish, you don't have a lot of options. So I found this one and but I wanted the 3. because he had 2 Dalmatians. Technically, he had 3. 1 passed away. And so I wanted the 3. And so I used this as a template and played around with it and eventually ended up with this pattern. So it's a combination of Maggie, Joe, and me. We made a Dalmatian pattern. And luckily I still had some of this green fabric that I really liked from my previous start. And this is where I'm at. Let me get the pillow again because this fabric is very see-through. This is where I'm at. And I am so pleased. I am so pleased with how these are turning out. So this is the original pattern pretty much. The only thing I did was change the shading on the legs and get rid of the collar. Just because I didn't know what collar collar they wore. And so I just like got rid of, I don't think they even really wear collars that much. And so I started on the other, one of the brown Dalmatians. He had 2 browns and a black. And so, yeah, they're looking really, really good. This is going to be done in a week, probably. I've only put like 2 nights on this. And so it stitches up very quickly. And it's going to be just the right size to be substantial without being like ginormous and super detailed. It's going to be enough to be a nice gift, but, you know, not some crazy ask. That was just impossible to do. So yeah, very pleased with that. This is 28 count green, glass green linen. I don't know where it's from, but I think it's just a stock cashel linen. I currently have it in my cassette tape project bag, which I freaking love. I don't have a page for that because I didn't have any Dalmatian stuff. So I printed a bunch of stuff off. I just need to make the page. All right. Hang on a second. Sorry, I'm just looking through. I don't think I've shown you. Hang on. Talking about pages made me think. I don't think I've shown you my Victorian lamp page either because it's been a hot minute since I've thought to bring my book down here. So this is my Victorian lamp page. I am really pleased with it. And then the back is the schematics for different lanterns that I found. I had a lamp sticker. I think it turned out very Victorian. Turned out very cool. Very cool. I like that one. I think I've shown you all my other ones. Yeah. I totally have. There, you're all caught up. See, that was so difficult, Lauren. If you just remember to bring your book with all the information. I don't know. All right. Last new start. Alrighty. So this one's got a little bit of a story. This is one I've wanted to do for a really long time. My mom loved Robert Frost, the poet. She grew up here in the mountains of Appalachia, and she always thought his poems, even though he wrote about farther up north in New England, she always kind of thought that they sounded like around here. My mom was very much in love with this place we live in. And so she loved Robert Frost, and as everybody does, but she specifically loved the Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening poem. And so I grew up loving that poem because it's a great poem. It just is. It's an American classic for a reason. And I wanted to cross stitch it. I wanted to cross stitch either the whole poem as like just a blackwork text piece, or the quote, "The woods are lovely, dark and deep." I love that. It's just such an evocative phrase. I love it. But I could not find a pattern for it. I found a couple where it's, again, just words, or it was too simple. It didn't have the feeling that I wanted. And so I was like, maybe I'll combine it with like a tree pattern, you know, just do something to zhuzh it up a little bit. And then my friend Devin, we were talking about it one day, and she's like, you have the pattern for this. And I was like, I do. And she's like, yeah, you have the books by Stitchrovia, which I do, the book Cross Stitch for the Earth. And in it, there is this pattern between two pines. And she's like, that is the perfect pattern to convert. And I was like, you know what? I think you're right. And so I spent way too many meetings at work just playing around with colors and palette. And there's a couple of, there's some very small like summer imagery in there, like mushrooms and things like that just wouldn't be there in winter. And so I played around with it and changed the text, obviously, to the text I wanted. And this is the final pattern that I am incredibly pleased with and cannot wait to get stitching to finish because I've started it. This is the final pattern. I have it mocked up in both with a black background, which is what I'm going for, and a dark blue background, but I also have it mocked up for a white because I liked it in many different varieties. So it is very pretty. So this is what I think in the last episode I mentioned that I had bought this special fabric, special glittery fabric, and that is what this is for. And I got a little start. So let me play for a second. So here is my start. I started with a center start, so I'm starting in the mist. I pretty much have the word deep. There's a little bit that I need to finish there. And I've started working down into here. This fabric is not as black as I had hoped, but I think it is showing up very nicely. I think the contrast is plenty to make it really pop, especially as they get down into some of the lighter colors. I'm in like the grayest area that I could have started with. You can already see, my little rider. And again, like I'm in the text area. You can see the word "and" kind of popping up there. Yeah, some snowflakes. I am so pleased with how this is going to turn out. I can already see that it is exactly what I was looking for. So again, I can't leave anything alone. I have to play with everything, but I'm so glad I did in this case because I think that's going to be so beautiful. And this beautiful fabric, this is 14 count, I think it's called Stormy Gray Opalescent fabric. It is a printed Aida by Easy Stitch for Fun on Etsy. I double checked because I have had the kind where they print on this glitter as well, but this glitter is fully in the weave of the fabric. And it is so perfect. There's just enough variation to it, but it is mostly black because that is what I want it for. Or charcoal gray. So yeah. That is my winter piece. I'm starting to feel the winter. I'm starting to get ready to do some winter stitching. I think my next blackwork piece might be a winter stitch. I'm really feeling it. I'm ready for hot cups of tea, no yard work, crunchy snow beneath your feet, hot fireplace on. That is what I am looking forward to. This is the color palette, in case. Let me put it up here. Talking about the colors of the floss. Like, that is going to be so pretty. So pretty. It's funny because this time of year is very nostalgic. I think about my mom a lot. And we went down to visit my great aunt Shirley. I think she's actually my grandmother's cousin, but we've called her aunt my whole life. And she was doing something outside, and I was like, let Sarah take care of that. Let Sarah do it. And she goes, okay, Barbara. And she just kept calling me Barbara the whole visit. She would also call me Lauren, but she just never corrected herself when she called me Barbara. And So I've been very much in a nostalgic walk down memory lane kind of mood lately. So that is all I have. I have lots of new stuff to work on. Lots of fun, beautiful new things. I'm finishing up some like legacy projects like the mushrooms. I've been working on that for over almost 18 months now. Something like that. So that is a pretty long project for me. Like I know when I'm doing a big full coverage that's like a year's investment. And so my brain like thinks of it differently. But for just a regular old project, to think of something being years and years long is really long for me. I don't usually do projects that are that big. But yeah, I hope you are having a wonderful autumn season, spooky season. I hope you're ready to go to a bunch of costume parties and eat a bunch of candy until you're sick. And then settle in for a long winter's nap of cozy movies and hot cups of tea and stitching. I'm actually trying to plan right now to just take a day off work and do nothing but eat snacks, drink tea, and stitch, which just sounds glorious. So I hope that's in your future too. Have a wonderful month. I'll be back again with some more updates and fun things. Bye, guys.